Some worlds are frozen, some are silent, and some never stop burning. Orbiting dangerously close to Jupiter is a moon where the ground constantly breaks apart beneath rivers of lava. A world covered in volcanoes, poisoned by sulfur, torn apart by gravity itself. This is not a dead moon drifting through space. This is one of the most violent places in the solar system. This is Io. Among the dozens of moons orbiting Jupiter, none is more extreme than Io. Roughly the size of Earth's moon, Io appears from space like a wounded world painted in yellow, orange, black, and red. But those colors are not rock or sand. Much of Io's surface is covered in sulfur and volcanic material blasted upward from constant eruptions. Unlike most moons in the solar system, Io is not frozen or quiet. It is geologically alive on a scale almost impossible to imagine. Hundreds of active volcanoes continuously reshape the surface. Entire landscapes disappear beneath lava. Mountains rise. Plains collapse. Io is not stable for even a moment. Io is the most volcanically active world ever discovered. Some eruptions eject material hundreds of kilometers above the surface, far higher than any volcanic eruption on Earth. Giant plumes of sulfur and ash rise into space before slowly falling back across the moon like toxic snow. Beneath the crust, enormous reservoirs of molten rock constantly move under extreme pressure. Lava lakes glow across the landscape. Entire regions are flooded by fresh eruptions. And because volcanic activity never truly stops, Io's surface remains incredibly young. Ancient impact craters are almost completely erased. Every eruption rewrites the world again. Io does not look natural by human standards. Bright yellow plains, black volcanic scars, red sulfur deposits, white frost-like regions scattered across the surface. The moon almost resembles a living chemical reaction frozen in motion. These strange colors come largely from sulfur compounds constantly recycled through volcanic activity. As eruptions spread material across the surface, heat and chemistry continuously repaint the moon. Some regions glow from fresh lava. Others darken beneath volcanic ash. Io is not simply erupting. It is constantly transforming itself into something new. By all logic, Io should have cooled billions of years ago. Small worlds normally lose internal heat over time, becoming frozen and geologically inactive. But Io never stopped burning. Something continuously feeds enormous energy into its interior, keeping its mantle partially molten and its volcanoes permanently active. The answer lies not inside Io itself, but in the gravity of Jupiter. Io orbits incredibly close to Jupiter, only about 420,000 kilometers above the giant planet's cloud tops. At that distance, Jupiter's gravity is overwhelming. But gravity does not pull equally across Io's entire surface. The side facing Jupiter experiences a stronger pull than the far side. As Io moves through its orbit, this difference constantly stretches and compresses the moon. The entire world flexes under gravitational pressure. Mountains rise and fall. The crust bends. Deep beneath the surface, rock grinds against rock, generating enormous heat through friction. Io is not simply orbiting Jupiter. It is being tortured by it. This process is known as tidal heating, and on Io, it operates at a level unlike anything else in the solar system. Every orbit creates internal friction powerful enough to melt enormous portions of the moon's interior. Beneath the crust may exist vast oceans of magma constantly moving under pressure. Heat rises upward. Volcanoes erupt. Lava floods the surface. Without tidal heating, Io would likely resemble a frozen dead moon like countless others. Instead, it became the most volcanically violent world ever found. Not because of its size, not because of its atmosphere, but because gravity itself refuses to let the moon rest. Io's nightmare is made even worse by neighboring moons. Europa and Ganymede constantly influence Io's orbit through gravitational resonance. Their combined pull prevents Io's orbit from becoming perfectly circular. That small orbital distortion changes everything. Because as long as the orbit remains slightly elliptical, Jupiter's gravity continues flexing the moon again and again without stopping. Io cannot stabilize. It cannot cool. It cannot become quiet. The moon is trapped inside a permanent cycle of gravitational violence. Scientists believe parts of Io's mantle may remain partially molten at all times. Some volcanic eruptions release more energy than all active volcanoes on Earth combined. Lava temperatures may exceed 1,600 degrees Celsius, hotter than many terrestrial eruptions. Entire lakes of molten rock bubble beneath sulfur skies. And because eruptions constantly reshape the landscape, Io's surface changes faster than almost any world humanity has ever observed. Io is not evolving toward stability. It is trapped in endless geological violence, with no escape. Io contains some of the most extreme volcanic environments ever discovered. Across its surface lie enormous lava lakes glowing beneath sulfur-filled skies. Some are hundreds of kilometers wide. Their molten surfaces constantly crack, overturn, and erupt under enormous heat. Temperatures may exceed those of many eruptions on Earth, creating landscapes that resemble a planet still being born. On Io, the ground itself behaves like an open wound, never cooling, never healing, never becoming stable. Some eruptions on Io are so powerful that volcanic material escapes hundreds of kilometers above the moon. Giant plumes rise into space like enormous toxic fountains before slowly falling back to the surface. Sulfur and ash spread across the landscape, constantly repainting the moon in yellow, red, orange, and black. From orbit, Io sometimes looks less like a moon, and more like an active cosmic disaster unfolding in real time.